Callie, you are back. How are you?
Oh, I'm wonderful. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. I got a hold of you. You and I have had various conversations over probably like a year and a half. And, had you on obviously before. Then I had the old man, Jim.
Oh, yeah.
Good guy, was talking to me a ton about lawn and lawn care and soil health and things of that nature.
Diving
really awesome.
Deep
Dive.
diver, yeah.
Deep dive. And spring has come around, and of course I go to Zamzow's and I pick up, my stage 1, whatever the stuff is. And I have a lawn, no joke, that is like, it's my white whale. Like, I cannot get this lawn to just do. And I see other people's lawns and I see other things. It's like, okay, and this particular sod is put on top of, it was put down by a developer and it's put on top of sand. So I'm like, maybe like it's soil that like I actually need like a loam or something. So then I was, overseeding it, so I was like, okay, I'll overseed it. So like we start and then I'll put like fertilizer on and I don't know. And so then I was thinking I wasn't watering it enough, but there was a patch of grass that had died. And then I had reseeded it with like some Scott seed or something. That patch from last year is growing like crazy. And then the other stuff, anyway, help me. Please.
I want to start off by saying you're not alone.
Oh my God.
And I'm saying
not the only one.
I'm saying that because if you go into any one of our stores right now, you're going to see, or you just listen, you'll have lots and lots of people coming in saying the exact same thing. Now, there's a different flavor. Some people have, they're in a little different location in the valley, or they've had their lawn longer or whatever. So there's little different flavors here and there, but you would not feel alone if other people were in Zamzows. You'd know that. Yeah. So I was thinking about how we could kind of structure this conversation. And I think it's easiest if we just kind of go back to basics. Now, bear with me because I think there's a lot of stuff you're like, yeah, I know, but but hang tight because I think there's some little gems in this, just really, really basic. So my dad taught us that when you're dealing with a lawn, you're dealing with LAWN. So easy to remember because it's lawn, right? So the L is for light, the A is for air, the W is for water, and the N is for nutrients. Now, let's break that down really quickly.
That's clever how he did that.
Right.
That works
Cute,
very well.
Huh? I know. That's nice. Okay, so light. Most of the time, we don't have to deal with this. I was driving through your particular neighborhood. It's still a fairly new neighborhood. Where you deal with light when it comes to lawn a lot of times is if you have a big, huge tree that has grown over time, the wrong grass was put down, and now there's not enough sun, and that grass just is not, it's kind of suffering. So some people in the valley might be listening to this saying, okay, that may be the case for why there's a dead spot underneath my big, huge tree. They probably need to reseed. That's not your problem. So light is probably not your issue. Although I will argue that there's a lot of thatch. I was noticing in the lawns as I was walking by, there's a lot of thatch.
That's that dead gray stuff?
Exactly.
Okay.
So you see that, and then you see kind of the green poking through it. Okay. So that's definitely going to block some of the light getting to the soil.
So you need a dethatcher.
Well, potentially. So we'll talk about that.
Okay.
So that's we have our light, we have our air. Water is the next thing. In your particular situation, if you step on any of the grass around here, it's squishy. Probably because of the situation that you were talking about, which is you have a fairly new subdivision. What they do is they scrape all the good topsoil off, and then they roll sod on the garbage that's underneath. It is so hard to grow grass on that, and so it just basically holds that water right at the surface and doesn't go deep to allow the roots to move down into the soil and become really healthy grass. So you might be dealing with a little bit of that.
Yeah, and we have a lot of clay here, so it's like there is no. It's just like a sheet. It's like an avalanche. That you see the demonstrations of avalanche. It's like you have this hard crust, and then you have this stuff that moves underneath, and that's what causes the avalanche. Same thing. Like the water goes down, and then I swear there's like a river, like a mini aquifer underneath the like sand that the grass is sitting on top of. That just water sheets around.
Absolutely. You probably see in the summertime when everybody's watering, there's a lot that goes into the gutter.
Yeah, tons.
Because it's just kind of rolling off.
Yeah, it's not being absorbed or going down back into like aquifer recharge.
Right, exactly.
Incidental recharge.
Yes. So LAW, then we have the N, nutrients, and that's usually what Zamzow's we talk about. That's our program that we have, and probably what happened with your Scott's situation where you you treated an area, you overseeded with some seed that had some fertilizer in it, I'm assuming.
I'm something like that.
Some sort of okay.
Sure.
So what's happened is that right now that fertilizer is being fed. It's probably chemical, I'm guessing.
Sure.
And so the grass is like, yippity doo, we've got everything we need. We're getting all these nutrients and we're happy as a clam. That won't last. That's not sustainable, because ultimately what you have to get and what you need desperately over here is life in the soil. So let's talk about how you get life back into the soil.
Let's do that. And to be clear, I think Jim had articulated that he's like, what most people get when they have a Scots fed grass over a period of time, 3, 4, 5 years, is you end up with a hydroponic lawn, which is essentially you don't have any soil health. What you have is something that the roots are grabbing onto, right? Those are the actual particles. You don't have any like of the micro organisms that are existing in the soil. And what you do is you keep dumping Scots on, which feeds the plant, but it doesn't ward off pests. It doesn't ward off fungus. It doesn't ward off all of these diseases that a healthy soil would theoretically take care of, right?
Exactly.
So you don't hit a sustainable basis, and then all of a sudden you're dumping on the nutrients from, like, let's say Scots, and then you have to treat pesticides, and then you have to treat with, insecticides, like all these different things, because you really just don't have healthy soil, and you're like faking it till you make it.
Right. And the lawn is actually getting weaker. So as an organism, it's not being strengthened itself. So even so you've got the life in the soil is gone, but the grass itself is getting weaker.
Gotcha.
So you've got a combination of the two, and ultimately it leads to failure.
Okay. So how do we get life back in the soil?
It's the easiest way. I mean, if you're really just fed up with it, if you want to create a whole big bunch of work for yourself, you would pull the soil up and you would start back over, and you get some compost and you would build that soil up. Most people are not going to do that, and you don't have to do that. Thankfully, that's not the only way to do it. You can do it because the grass is growing. You can actually put the compost down. And so this is where we were talking about dethatching. Also aerating is in that same,
Gotcha.
So aerating, it generally, and usually we laugh about it because after somebody comes through to aerate, and that's where they literally poke
Punch
holes in,
holes, yeah.
and then it pulls the little dog poop looking pieces out.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So what people do is they aerate and they think that that's going to do the job. But what happens is that those little plugs end up just getting squished back in, and then
they get compressed.
Right. And it doesn't do any good. What you have to do is you have to aerate and then put compost over the top of it. Get compost into those holes and get some life in there to break that up and get things going so that that clay is getting broken up, and the water can actually make its way through, the roots can make their ways through, and then things like worms will start to come, and all this other lovely life in the soil that will then sustain your lawn, and you won't have to do very much to keep it going.
And the aeration has a couple, I've been trying to understand, because I mean, everybody sees aeration stuff when they're, run around the park when I was a kid, like, oh, dog poop. Exactly what you're saying. And that has a couple very specific effects. Not only does it allow for essentially like well injection, like a mini well, to get nutrients from the top surface down, trapped underneath, where the root systems are, to start feeding from there. It also breaks up soil density, right? Because like you have lawns as high tread areas that over a period of time get compressed down, and then roots and nutrients and stuff and, worms, whatnot, have a harder time engaging and growing in that area. And as you make cavities, that alleviates some of that pressure, because as you step down in one place, that soil can move into that cavity space. So you decrease the density of the soil you're working with, right? That's the idea.
That's the theory.
That's the theory.
But it generally doesn't work because people don't. They pull the plugs and then it just goes right back in. You need to put something in that area. Another option that you can do, we have a product that you can put down that is actually, it's instead of being large holes, it actually just penetrates the turf and kind of breaks up your clay. So you can, if you have like a little area, sometimes, especially in newer housing areas, there'll be just a trouble area in general, and it's probably there's high clay there, or there's something there that's keeping the water from penetrating. And if you put this product on, you can actually break down some of those. It's like chemical bonds almost between the clay particles that allows then water to come through, nutrients to come through. And if you can penetrate that, you can actually begin to get some life in there. So there is a liquid way of doing that. It's what I prefer, and it's kind of miraculous. I will admit, I used it. I had a little area that was kind of a bit of a hill, and water was not penetrating. It was rolling off the hill, and everything else was fine. And so I sprayed a little bit of this product on there, and I couldn't believe how quickly it greened up, because now all of a sudden the water was seeping in right in that area instead of rolling down to the lower areas.
That's wild.
So, yeah, it's a good product.
I mean, I was just about to ask you how, but like, I'm not a chemist, and I don't think you're a chemist. But
that's right.
You guys have some chemists that like figured something out with this,
right.
Decreasing density and increasing, hyper. what is it? What is it when the water doesn't get absorbed?
Oh,
Hydrophobic.
yeah, it is hydrophobic. That's exactly right. Yeah,
Yeah. See, I knew something.
you
It was
did.
like it was an
Yeah,
H in there somewhere.
good
And
job,
again,
gold star.
you have a lot of those and problems. The things you're talking about, there also may be just some, like I had a lawn that I was trying to help get back going last year. And I was like, had all the sprinklers on going around and there was this dead spot. And of course I went straight to like, oh, there's got to be like a fungus or an insect thing or something going on there. But like I spent the afternoon trying to like fuss with this lawn and figure it all out. And what we actually figured out eventually is that although we had sprinklers that were like, spraying in the 90 or the 180 or whatever over that area, what was actually happening is they were either missing, they went way too high, or they were too low. And that's what happened in one case in the corner. It was on a slight hill, right? And the sprinkler was here, but it was facing down, right? So the sprinkler was really just hitting here and there was this dead spot there. It's like, why is there a dead spot? We shouldn't. So we had to like dig up behind the sprinkler head and actually force it back. And then all of a sudden that lawn greened up. So it's not necessarily even at all times that you have a chemical or a soil problem.
Right.
It could just be like a basic mechanical, like, oh, well, this sprinkler set or the sprinkler head or.
Oh my gosh. Automatic sprinklers. So as wonderful as they are, we love to set them and forget them. And the vast majority of the people that come in with lawn programs don't need to buy anything from us. We talk to them about their watering and we can help them straighten it out. And there are a million different watering errors you can make. My particular system is old. It's been going forever. So I have all these different heads that have been changed. Like they're not symmetrical. That some of them have dropped below the, so I have to raise them up every once in a while and get them, recalibrated. Some put out more water than others. It's a mess. It's a
mess.
I mean, really, I'm constantly messing with it. And so that's one of the areas for sure. We have a little kit where you can put little cups around your yard, and then you can run your system to kind of test what they say, like through the University of Idaho Extension Centers, that they say 1 inch one time a week. And then when it gets into the real heat of the summer, when it's blazing hot, maybe a couple times a week. When you think about that, like that doesn't seem like a lot of water.
Does not.
But if people are not measuring so that they know for sure that that's the case, like in my yard, I did learn this last year and I had to change out some heads. Like one area on the same system. So it's running, let's say it's running 25 minutes. One area was filling the cup a 1 inch. Another area was barely even touching it. Like it was barely filling that particular cup. So vastly different watering, all in the same station even. So sometimes people have to like really take a look at their stations and make sure how much is being put out. And it is kind of, I mean, if you're nerdy like me, it's kind of fun to do the little test because it is pretty, you get the information pretty quickly. Oh, that's why there's a dry spot there because the sprinkler's not hitting it. Right. Or, there's plenty of water, but the water's rolling down like was happening in my yard and it's all pooling somewhere else. And so none of it's staying up here. So you can kind of do some diagnosing just based on water alone. It's fascinating. I think for the most part, people overwater around here. It's more overwatering than underwatering, believe it or not.
I would agree with that. I'm sure I overwater in my frustration to get my.
I've done that.
Is it possible that you're like the grass doesn't, my trashy grass that you saw that I'm like desperately trying, that's not it's such a sad little puppy. It's so sad.
You can kind of blame it on spring because everybody's lawn is sort of just waking up right now.
The dude next door has like Pixar level lawn right now. Like, I don't know how he does it. I just want to run my hand through it and just like feel the grass, like it's ridiculous. It's very frustrating to me.
Yeah. You can have it, I promise. I can help you have that.
Okay, but is it possible that I'm overwatering that and that's what's producing lackluster growth? Or is it nah, probably not?
My guess is you just don't have enough life in your soil. So it doesn't matter how much you're watering. Because if you have no life in the soil, it's not holding on to it. And ultimately, you want those roots to penetrate. They've got to go down deep so that when it gets really hot in summer, it still stays happy and stays moist and all that other fun stuff. But they have to be able to get deep. Okay. And the root systems want to do that. Right now, just in looking at around the neighborhood, like a very shallow root system. And I think you can't help it. You've got this clay that is just kind of keeping things there. If you can get some life in there, get some penetration. I think it will change everything for you. And you may not even have to change anything else.
Okay, question for you then. I have a friend who always emphasizes like adding top dressing in the spring, right? And he goes like 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch. And my idea last year was, okay, I think the grass is like sitting on top of sand. And I know this because I pulled a weed and I was like, that's sand.
Yep.
Plug that pole back up. I was like, okay, well, if we need soil, like I'm not ripping up my whole grass here. So why don't I maybe I should. Like, what would it take to rip it up? Like, obviously ripping it up is you manually removing it, but then putting down, you know, like what do you do? Like 1 or 2 inches of like good earth and then seeding it, compressing it, watering it and be like, come on, baby, let's do it.
Right. So, and I think it's really important because you had said, I think before we got going, you had mentioned putting some topsoil. Very, very big difference between topsoil, because topsoil around here is going to be garbage because that's all we have here. All of our topsoil is bad. And, you know, it's funny because people come to the store and they'll buy topsoil. And we have to remind them, you know, this is just topsoil from here. It's not good. It's like, it's dirt, basically. It doesn't have a lot of life in it because we don't have a lot of life in our soil naturally. What you want is compost. And ideally what you want is a finished compost, not manure that's got to continue to finish and it's going to take more time. Like you want it to be a little quicker fix than that. So get some good, rich, smell it.
Oh my God, I'll let you smell it.
Smells so good. Not manure. I don't like manure, but the smell of really good finished compost. Oh my gosh, there's nothing better. And that's what and top dressing, that's awesome. That's a great, whoever you said was doing that, fantastic idea. Just to make sure that's the right thing.
You are glowing right now. I have never seen somebody get so excited.
You love lawns.
You just, the compost. Okay, well, here's an idea then. And I'm sure it's terrible. What if, okay, so I throw out your like station 1, you know, the little white balls of stuff that you put that down. Then I do like 1 inch of compost, finished compost over my existing front grass. And then I seed that bad boy, seed over the top. And then I run the sprinklers like it's going out of style. And then we will literally have the grass that survives that comes up. Right, we'll have a layer of great nutrients just beneath the inch of the compost, and then we're going to have the grass on top that's like, oh, this is very enjoyable. Like, I'm happy here. I will start. And so the grass can take root. The grass beneath it that's still going will come up, and now we've increased the depth of the lawn. Like, what do you think about that?
I like the idea. I would want to make sure that we paid really close attention as to which product you put down as far as the nutrients are concerned, because you are dealing with seedlings, and so you don't want to be too rich.
You don't want to burn them,
right? Exactly.
Gotcha.
But I like where your head's at, as they say. I think that's good. I don't like the dangling participle or whatever that is. Where your head's at. But anyway, I digress.
Head's at right now.
Exactly.
Head's at right now. Just always put right now at the end of every time.
Thank you for that.
And so. Are the shallow root systems the reason that grass sometimes doesn't, like I have a neighbor across the street who has this really, like he's got a wall of grass at the sidewalk, which is crazy. It's like, how did you do that? And literally it's like sidewalk and then his grass is like this. And my sad little puppy grass is like maybe 1 inch above. And it's like, how do I get this, you know, thick thing? And is that a function? Is that potentially just shallow root systems that don't support like really high growth and really like robust stalks?
Well, so are you saying that it's just tall? Is it just taller, or are you just saying like it's
just
like
tall and thick?
Yeah,
like it's huge. Like he weed whacks and he like goes vertical and he's like, and it's literally like the Great Wall of Shane.
Yeah,
you know, like
yes.
Around, and it's great. Like he's really meticulous with his grass. By the way, I found I got a daisy popper from your store last year. It was so great.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing I love more than taking like a 5-gallon Home Depot bucket and a daisy popper and just like. I do it at the neighbor's house. I'm like, you got to hang on, let me get the. They're like, you were just driving down the street and stopped. I'm like, I know, I got you. Not all heroes wear capes.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
The daisy popper, like it is the most odd satisfaction ever. You know, like you ever see somebody like put paint on, it's like a perfect brush stroke or like little OCD things. The daisy popper, I'm like, this is beautiful.
Yeah.
It's just, and it pops.
And pulls the whole.
It's like the mini carrot, you know, the white and like,
yeah.
I have a bit of a hippie sister who really likes dandelion root coffee.
Oh, did you save the dandelion roots for her? Like, look, I've got
no. That's the devil's coffee. Don't even call that coffee. It's a fake coffee. Like it's the same thing as like fake meat. Okay.
Yeah.
Like if you want to eat vegan or vegetarian, there are cuisines throughout the world that can absolutely accommodate you that have established like you go to Indian, they have incredible vegetarian dishes, right? But people who want to be vegetarian but still eat the burger,
Right.
I don't care
The
for those
mystery
people.
burger.
Yeah, just don't tell me you have dandelion root coffee. Just say I have this dandelion root tea or drink that I enjoy. Don't call it coffee.
Yeah.
Like you're
I feel
just
the
trying
same
to
way about the mushroom coffee. I'm like, all right, I mean, but it's no, it's not it's not coffee. It's still mushrooms. Like it's still not.
Listen, you love your finished compost. When I get coffee grounds,
That's see.
it's so good. And that's not an advisable thing to just like dump coffee grounds on your lawn, right? Because I know some people really enjoy getting coffee grounds from coffee shops and being like, oh, I'm going to work this in. It's like
Usually in their garden,
Yeah,
they're working
like-
on it, but that would be that unfinished, like they're trying to create a compost in their soil.
Gotcha.
So it's an unfinished, so it's going to take some time for that to break down and be usable but there's there's lots of good studies about doing unfinished
Gotcha.
compost too.
I think we should do my 1 inch of finished compost strategy.
Mm-hmm.
I think we should try this and we'll do like time lapse photos.
I like it.
Okay. So bottom line is if you have issues in the lawn right now, like there are a lot of things that it could be. A lot of people like me who come from the state that shall not be named default to overwatering like crazy.
Right.
Because that was always the problem. And one of the first things I learned from this guy, Scott, who was helping us with our house when we moved in, he's like, listen, don't overwater. It's probably nutrients.
Yeah.
And it's like, I didn't listen to him. I was just make it rain.
Well, so let me see if I can get you to hear this.
Okay.
Because I think probably most people who are stressed out about their lawns, just take it easy. They're actually pretty easy to fix. I promise you. We've done a lot of it over the years and we can absolutely help you. You may have to have a little patience, but it's kind of an amazing thing. Soil is an amazing thing. And if you do right by it, it becomes your best friend. Like it becomes this thing and then pretty soon you'll be like, oh, my lawn, I don't even think about it anymore. I just don't even worry about it.
Okay. If this is true, how long are you talking? Like be patient, like a couple years?
Potentially.
I don't have that patience.
But not necessarily. But not necessarily. And
Not
I think,
if you do the finished compost, like
well,
I'm
this
going
is
to
what I was just going to say. You're talking about doing something that's a pretty big deal. Like, I don't know if you know fully, like what you're thinking of undertaking is going to take you a little bit. Like there's going to be some effort involved.
It's going to be like 5 weeks. Once I get the inch of compost down and seed it, that stuff is coming through in 3 weeks.
Yeah, you actually will see. Yes, you're right about that. All I'm saying is the actual day that you decide that you're going to do all that is going to be a lot of work. That's all I'm saying as far as that. But then you give it some time.
Yeah.
And you do some TLC and you watch your watering and you adjust it as the heat. I think you will actually. You can see difference this year.
I think you should have hired me. I think this is a genius. For people that are like me, they're like, I don't have years. And they're like, listen, you want to see something in like a month and a half? Hold my beer.
Yeah.
Like,
well,
here we go.
If you're going to do it, now's the time to do it though. If you were going to start it in July, I would say there's no way you're about to.
Because the grass would not be able to survive.
Right now, so forsythia hedges, all those beautiful little yellow hedges that are coming out, that's our indicator that the soil is 50 to 55 degrees. That's your indicator. That means seeds will start to sprout. That means that like it's go time. The soil's starting to come alive. Like this is go time. So right now, perfect timing. And you have plenty of time. So by June, you could probably have a lawn that looks different.
That looks amazing. That's what I want. I want amazing.
Okay.
And
that looks amazing.
You're just saying that essentially, hey, to transport all of this finished compost over here, you're going to, because I mean, putting out the nutrients is not that big of a deal.
Right.
It's really going to be getting the compost into my dumb Highlander, bringing it over here, probably bagging it, right? Because I'm going to throw bags in the back.
Or you're going to get it in bulk. It's cheaper in bulk.
Oh,
you just get it
can you
from
guys
the back.
deliver it?
Yes, we can.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Then it gets dumped. You get a tarp out because you don't want to make a big mess because that will make your wife unhappy. And then you shovel from there and wheelbarrow it out, and you're going to dump it, and then you're just going to rake it. Yeah, it's pretty. I mean,
this is like an hour and a half process.
All right, maybe your lawn's a different size than I thought it might be.
That one out there,
okay.
My sad little puppy at the curb. Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. Oh,
I'm not talking
easy.
3 acres. It's like I got a skid loader and stuff.
Which I was going to tell you, you said you had a difference between your backyard and your front yard. That's really common that when a house is built, the builder is the one who puts in the front yard and the backyard is left alone. So a lot of times when people put in their backyard, they do put the compost in because they're planting, they're trying to plant seeds or things like that.
Sure.
So a lot of times the backyards are better because the homeowner had to do it. And
Oh yeah, I had a problem with this lawn last year because I would mow it every week and I would literally like fill up the bin every week. Like we were growing like gangbusters last year in the back. It's the front that's just, it's got my number. Listen, I am going to be dealing with a big garden this summer. Okay. And it just got rototilled and I'm very excited about it. And I kind of want to talk to you about plants at a later date because I know we were just talking lawns, but with preparation before things get planted, what do you guys recommend, obviously, to, the rototilling is loosening everything up. You want to make sure that you have nice, soft, penetrable soil. It also disrupts the entire ecosystem of that soil, right? Because you're like chopping everything up.
Right.
So what are things that you can do in advance of planting? Is there like a protocol where it's like, okay, 2 weeks before you're ready to plant, put this stuff on or mix this stuff in? Like, what is that? What would you recommend?
You're gonna be like, really, this is your answer to everything, but compost.
Okay.
Compost. Now you could do a soil test. You can send that into the, University of Idaho and they'll give you a soil test and tell you exactly. And then you could, if you wanted to mess with individual nutrients, you could get certain things depending on what you're trying to grow, blah, blah, blah. But to me, when it comes to gardening, they fall out of love with it as soon as it gets hot because they just have too big of a garden and it's too much and blah, blah, blah. So keep those things easy. Just do compost, get the life in the soil going.
There we go.
You're going to be just fine. What you're probably going to notice, I did this last year. I took up my side yard and I rototilled it and got it all ready and whatever. I realized I forgot that weeds, with a garden like that, weeds become your worst enemy. And so you're not going to have any problems probably gardening and growing things in there. It's going to be pulling the weeds. And so get your kids really excited about weeds.
Oh yeah. But you can listen, I'm not telling you I've been like some farmer, but like you can in like a neighborhood garden, like let's say the garden's, I don't know, 100 square feet or 200 square feet. Like what level of weed issue are you going to have? Like 5 minutes a day, you walk through, you pull weeds?
If you did it 5 minutes a day, you'd be fine. What happens is we get busy and then we come in 2 weeks later and we're like, oh my gosh.
It's like the Godzilla of weeds.
I mean, some people do. Certainly not me. I'm just kidding. My husband's like, really?
I got really, really mad about my lawn. I think it was when I got the daisy popper because there was like crabgrass. Okay, so and by the way, there's a difference between crabgrass and
goosegrass.
What's the grass that grows when you overwater and it becomes swampy? That's it's like an S. It starts with an S.
Oh.
I can't remember. But the point is, it looks like crabgrass.
You're not talking quack grass. You're not crabgrass. There's all these various grasses.
I know. It doesn't matter. But it's like, what I realized is that it was I had this particular problem at a curb where all the water was sheeting down and then sitting there. So that area became like the swamp. And then we got like, this crazy crabgrass style stuff, right?
Yeah.
It's not cheatgrass. I can't remember. It doesn't matter. But the point is, I got really intense about the crabgrass growing and used the daisy popper. And instead of using chemicals, I was like,
yeah,
just taking and I would do it every day. It was like my meditation, where it's like 5 minutes a day, I'd walk the grass and I'd pull up individual like weeds and stuff. Man, it was looking choice.
Yeah.
It was like, but that was the back grass.
Well, there are chemicals you can use. I always recommend. I don't like prophylactic use of anything with chemicals. It's just, but sometimes you got to do what you got to do. And we were just talking about planting a lawn. So you want to be really careful if you're going to do any preventers for things like crabgrass or quackgrass or any of that kind of stuff.
Because you're going to prevent germination.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. And that is one of the biggest mistakes people make is they come in because they weren't trying to do it all at once. So pick a lane. I would say pick the lane of growing your grass first. Forget about the weeds for right now. You can always come back later and address them. And you can always pull them yourself, as it turns out.
Pull them yourself. You can always pull them yourself.
Kind of fun.
Yeah, there is something about it, man. There's something about getting your hands in the dirt, and
I agree. Even under your nails, and I know, people are like, you don't wear gloves. Most of the time, I do, but sometimes I just want to.
Yeah, just get after. Do you have one of those foot level weeding things for like the big weeds where like you stick it into the ground, you rock it back, it's like boom,
yes.
and it's like a gun goes off when it pops out,
and it's long and
it's crazy.
Yeah.
Those and the gloves required. Like I was talking to Farmer Dan over here who runs a CSA. And they have like these really thick sheepskin gloves and stuff because it's insane. They're like, you're dealing with like acupuncture needles coming off of all of the stalks. And so they have these like crazy weeding things. Yeah. Are you get them before that? It's not. Like when you're weeding apparatus, just like your hands or a glove, but like you
Well,
don't
it
have.
depends. It depends on what you're working with, because I'm not gonna be willing to just get in there with like. I mean, I have these are important things. They're doing other things with these that other than just gardening. So no, yeah, I use the tools.
Yeah, whatever tools they are.
Yeah.
Dethatchers, explain this to me. No, like the thatch is essentially dead grass that is laid down, and that is impeding obviously some degree of let's say water and definitely sunlight,
Absolutely.
right?
Yep.
So
and nutrients sometimes.
and nutrients, and so that needs to be. Is the dethatcher something that you use to scrape that stuff off and then you collect it and throw it away, or is it get to like what? How does that work?
Yes, yeah. So you usually rent it from either somebody has one or you go and rent it, and it literally will drag tines across your lawn and it will kind of cut through and like kind of lifts
Like a
all
lane.
that up. Yeah. And so it just is a machine that just kind of roughs up. It really just looks like it roughs your lawn up, and then you kind of pull all the thatch out. If you have life in the soil, you don't have thatch, because it just automatically will decompose. So that was my first indicator when I was walking up here. I was like, oh, yeah. Like the first thing that people would say is you got to dethatch. But my feeling is add compost. Let that thatch become part of the food for the microbes. Let that be part of the...
I love that.
Yeah.
I love the way you talk with us. Just leave it right there. Yep. Don't you do anything. Let's just dump some of this brown stuff on top. Exactly. Smells so good. Just dump it on, throw some seed on. We're going to do this experiment. I think this is the right way to do it, which is like you just start over on the soil. Don't try to rip anything up. Leave that there. Whatever makes it through is great. And then the rest of it, man, like what is it? April? By late May, I'm going to have a baller lawn. This is going to be incredible.
We'll hope by then.
Oh my God, thanks. You, in your store for this process, I was in there just last week, and you have like 5 different lawn seeds, and you have one that's like shade, high traffic, like more weather resistant. And then you had one that was like the best seed for the Treasure Valley.
Custom lawn seed.
What is that? Like
it's a blend. It's a blend of seeds.
I know it's a blend. I'm just wondering, like, what is it? What makes it the best?
What it makes it the best is that it's a combination of drought tolerance, heat tolerance, sunshine. So at any given moment, you're going to have blades of grass that are staying green. So part of what happens with grass is it kind of wants to be cool and like in shade, like it enjoys that. Yeah. But there are other types of grass that are a little more tolerant to it. So there are parts of the year. So like first thing in the spring, if you want your grass to be green, it's not probably going to be the same grass that in the middle of the summer is going to be your greenest grass. So you do this blend and nobody can really tell. Like you don't know that another grass has taken over at this point. Right. Now the next one is taken, but that's why we do that blend. And it works really, really well. It's fantastic.
So it's kind of like having multiple kids. Yeah. Like you need to like one of them at any given time. Right. If you only have one kid, there's going to be a time when you hate them and you're just going to be like, I hate kids. But when you have 3 boys like me, there's always a time where you're like, I hate you too. But you're cool. So there's no point when like you hate all 3 of them. So you're like, well, children aren't all bad. It's just you're that bad. And like, you're cool. And then the next day it's like, oh, you're terrible. And you're cool again. Like,
it's a great analogy. That's a great analogy.
Have 3 kids just like your lawn, like just different seasons of life.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And some are more, tolerant to certain diseases and things like that. So yeah, there's just various reasons to do it. We do sell the others because if you have a big shady tree, sure. I mean, yeah, then you probably just want a shady grass underneath that and it'll do just fine.
Well, I did purchase the best
custom,
for the Treasure Valley, the custom
it's great
thing.
It's great.
It's great.
It is. I just reseeded a spot in my lawn.
Did you?
It did.
What do you put down to make sure the seeds stay moist the whole time? Do you do the compost?
Compost.
Okay. Do you put the compost over it?
I do a little bit beforehand.
Okay. So it has something to grab onto.
Exactly. And then and you would be surprised how little seed you need. So a lot of times people buy a big bag. Yeah. You don't need a big bag. Go to the bulk section and grab a little bit. If you're doing a patch like this, you need just a few seeds. Like it's a tiny little smattering.
Like like a tablespoon almost?
That might even, depending on the spot. Yes.
Really?
Little tiny. Yeah. Very, very little is required. A whole bag like that is for like growing a whole yard. Like you don't need very much at all. So yeah, you just grab a little handful of it and you put it on top, and then you put the compost on top because it's partially to keep the moisture in because you need to keep those seedlings wet and make sure that they're,
Because they need to stay moist because the husk has to break, right? Like the moisture is the thing that breaks the husk, allows the actual root to set and then start going up.
Bingo.
If that dries out in the first like 72 hours, it's all over, right?
Yep.
Like you got a tiny window where it's like, don't screw this one up.
Absolutely. So you put that over the top, and you also do that because it's turns out that lawn seed is a little bit expensive for bird food, which is what it ends up being if you don't cover it up. I've learned that the hard way. So you cover it up so that the birds can't see it. You keep it watered, and then it will grow back. And you'll be kind of amazed. Like, you'll kind of wait for a few days. You're like, it's not coming, it's not coming. And then pretty soon you'll be like, because it's little
It's
tiny.
there.
And then
It's there.
And then before you know, I'm telling you, it comes by so fast. It comes back so fast. It's really one of the most wonderful things. I love planting seeds in the spring because by June, like, oh, it's like I never had a brown spot there.
I feel like you're the type of person that like mid-January is just so blue.
Oh,
You're just like, it's sad and gray.
Yes.
Every day is long and cold. Do you do a lot of red light therapy to get you through?
I actually do.
I bet you do.
We have a sauna that's an infrared, and I totally do. Like, yes. Yeah, it's all I
Just
can do
in
to
there,
get through
like
it.
trying not to cry, just
Yes.
waiting for the sun to come back.
Yeah, well, and I love this time of year because obviously we have hope, but it is kind of like what are we in our 4th or 5th spring at this point, and it's about to turn back again. Like, when are we just gonna stay spring already and get going? But we have to just be patient.
Yeah, well, it's fine for me because I haven't missed the mark yet, right?
Yeah,
like I
no.
still have hope.
No.
Like I'm 100% in for our plan.
Yeah,
To like either bag it or do a bulk drop and then, fertilize, seed, dirt over it.
Yep.
Compost, finish compost over it, and then like seed it again, and then it's going to be great. I'm going to put, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put those little stakes down, and then put the like rope around it, and be like, "Don't walk," like the crime scene stuff tape.
I love it.
Like I'm turning into that guy. Like I'm getting older. Day by day, I'm getting old, and it's like I can't. Like I was telling you, like I wear a hat because I hate getting haircuts. And what's worse is that I used to get haircuts when like the hair around my ears got like crazy. But since I wear headphones, nobody even sees it. So now I'm completely cut off, but I can't hide my grass. I can't get rid of the grass. Like it's not like I can avoid that. Anyway.
It's true. I'm telling you, this is totally fixable. We can help you with this.
Okay.
Let's see what we can do. I have hope.
I have hope.
I always have hope. I always think because there are so many different possibilities for people's lawns for things that could go wrong. But again, if you just take a deep breath and try to get to the crux of it, it's almost always the life in the soil, especially here. I mean, in Boise, because we just have this really difficult soil that needs life. And we have a tendency, like one of the big things that is my thing is like, look, you don't have to feed Zamzow's feed to your lawn. You don't have to do that, but try to do something that's not chemical. Because chemical is just, it's slowly killing all the life in your soil. So try not to do chemical and try to do things that are built for our valley. Because most of the grass foods are made in the Midwest where they have tons of carbon in their soil and they can afford to put a bunch of nitrogen on their soil because there's plenty of carbon there to balance it out. We don't have any carbon. So try to use something that's made for our local soil so that you have some carbon balance in there because we really need it. Or use our Humigreen. That could help balance out if you have something that doesn't have.
I got a bag of that in my car.
Attaboy.
I thought that was stage 2 or 3.
You can put it on anytime you want.
I'm putting it on today.
You could.
I'm putting it on today.
It wouldn't hurt. It's that carbon. That's really when we say life in the soil. It's really, we're talking about carbon. That's really what we're talking about. And it's super concentrated carbon. So it would not hurt at all for you to start your whole process with that.
Let's go. No, I didn't. I'm just not starting. I already put on stage 1.
Okay.
And then I got a bag of Humigreen too when I went to get the seeds. And it was like, oh, stage 3, like heat of the summer. I'm like, it's not the heat of summer yet. It was snowing yesterday.
That's the one thing that you can put on anytime you want. I put it on every time that I put a step on. I add, because you're throwing more carbon down. It's great. And it's my favorite step because you can do the broadcast spreader and just let it go everywhere. And it doesn't matter where it goes because wherever it hits is going to be carbon.
Everywhere needs carbon.
Exactly. So I just go crazy.
Yeah.
Like,
I just go. I'm walking down the street.
Yes, I'm just throwing it everywhere.
Throwing it at cars passing by. I go and find weddings. I throw it on the bride and groom. No rice for you.
Exactly.
How about some carbon, son?
Yeah, some jet black carbon. How about that? Cheers.
Oh my God. Oh, it's the best. Listen, I really want to do a segment on gardening this summer. So let's connect. First off, we're going to do the soil thing. I'm going to take pictures of this. It's going to be fantastic.
Cool.
And we'll know by the end of May. But I also want to do, I want to get a Zamzow's segment of my garden where we put a little Zamzow's flag in.
Oh,
And we do, like, why don't we do whatever you say? Like, Matt, do this. And we'll run 2 gardens in parallel. And man, like, your dad talked to me about some 18-foot tomato plant. Like, I'm all in for that. Like, if we could grow some kind of mutant Ninja Turtle tomato, like the size of, like the pumpkin, I'm all in for that. I love tomato, onion, salad, like cucumber salad. Oh, it's the best. I would love to have that every day.
So good.
Cucumbers that's one of the veggies that you hit in the garden that, man, my mouth is watering. I never get tired of cucumber.
Yeah.
Cucumber, heirloom tomato, and then some onion. Oh, balsamic vinegar.
Yeah, I was going to say, you got to get a little, some vinegar.
Oil, olive oil. It's the best.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah.
I can almost taste it now. The funny thing is, I do get kind of sick of it. By the end of the summer, I'm kind of like, somebody take these tomatoes off my hands. But it's only like 2 weeks after the last frost, and I'm like, I need a tomato. I don't know why. It happens every year. I'm like, I'm done with these. And then I'm like, I'm not done with those. Come back.
Listen, everybody gets annoyed with a boyfriend sometime.
That's right. Sometimes you need a little space.
Like, get out of here. Right. I imagine. There was that funny thing back in when I was in college. I was dating this girl that watched Sex and the City. So I was like, she was watching, I was watching because I was hanging out with her. There was that hilarious scene where like Carrie flips out at the dude, John or whoever. Not John, that's actually Mr. Big. But the dude who was before that. The dude who she walked out, she left, right?
Yeah.
They were engaged. Anyway, there was a scene when they like move in together and she's just, the whole point of the show is that she cannot stand that when she gets home, he's like, hey, how are you? Where you been? And she's like, at the end of the show, I remember this, she was like, when I come home, I just need you to not be there and leave me alone. And he was like, okay. And she goes into the room and she like takes a deep breath. She's like, oh, and it's like all quiet. She's like, she goes out. She's like, what are you doing? It's like, you get annoyed, but then you're like, come back.
Yes, exactly.
It's like you and your tomato plants.
That's right. Or the whole garden. Let's just throw the whole garden in there.
Listen,
it's really the weeds.
I want to have a conversation about gardening and marigolds and like aphids and stuff, but like that's a different conversation.
Okay.
Let's save that one for later. Bottom line, have hope with your grass.
Yes.
You need to get nutrients. You need to get carbon. Compost, finished compost is your best friend. Dethatcher is fine, but that's really a product of soil health. You're probably not underwatering. You're probably doing just fine. You got to get things going right now before it gets too hot in the summer. Zamzow's is your partner.
Listen to this. This is a fantastic summary there. You were listening. This is great.
I do. Yeah. I have very, very few skill sets, but summarizing a complex collection of data is one of them.
It's awesome.
It's awesome.
You just walk around with me and do that all day long. That'd be awesome.
You know what? I try. I could try. I'd give it a shot. It'd be annoying real fast because I need a constant drip of coffee. Real coffee. Real coffee.
That's right.
Save your dandelions. Anyway, thank you for coming on. We got some work to do.
All right. Thank you.